Good morning. I'm Susan Walsh in New York City from Manhattan, and I've been an NACDL member since 1996. When the national emergency was announced that week in March, I was following colleagues' litigation on ECF and otherwise. They were on trial, while the rest of us were scrambling and packing up to work home remotely and stock up on groceries. My colleagues in New York were trying the case. I followed because I severed out of that case, and I'm the next to try the same case. And as I followed their motion for an adjournment and the government's opposition to it, and their motion for a mistrial and the government's opposition to it, and I watched them electronically file their requests to charge, prep their summations, prepare their cross, under conditions where the rest of us were sheltering in place in Manhattan. I texted my colleagues and said, you need to contact the NACDL strike force. If you're not a member of NACDL, you need to join NACDL and contact the NACDL strike force. And by Saturday night, from that text on Saturday night to Sunday evening, the NACDL strike force filed a motion on behalf of those defense lawyers. And on Monday morning, the case was adjourned. That's NACDL in action under crisis, and that case has been postponed now, like the rest of our lives indefinitely. That's what defense lawyers do for each other when they're following each other and they have each other's backs. Now, I've been a member of NACDL since 1996 when I was a third-year student at George Washington. I was an intern in the Federal Defender's Office in Washington, D.C. And that year, one of my mentors at the time, Barry Boss, who comes from a great tradition of NACDL people, a board member, and Carmen Hernandez, past president of NACDL, worked in the office at the time. A.J. Kramer was the boss then, too. Barry Boss turned to me and said, if you're serious about being a criminal defense lawyer, you have to be a member of NACDL. And Barry Boss sponsored me as a third-year law student, and he bought me my first membership. And I've been a member of NACDL ever since. My career took me from just looking at the pages of the Champion and admiring who I thought were my heroes. They were my heroes, but they were also my mentors. And then they became my friends when I joined the Public Defender's Office in Denver, Colorado, with past President Lisa Wayne. And when I came back to New York, and I became a member of a small firm in New York City and was in partnership for more than 10 years with NACDL's current executive director, Norman Reamer. From coast to coast, my community of mentors have gotten smaller and closer. And people that were my mentors and my heroes are now my colleagues and friends. So I was happy when this crisis hit to return the favor of Barry Boss and to sponsor my own student memberships. And I did. And when I sponsored those student memberships that evening, my only regret was that I didn't do it sooner. But as karma will have it in the defense community, that very same evening, which was April 1st, when the 14-day quarantine lockdown happened nationwide in our federal prisons, I got a telephone call from Mississippi. And it was the last of my clemency recipients and his family celebrating from the parking lot in the Bureau of Prisons in Mississippi from Tupelo. He was out. A lifer was granted clemency from Obama while I was a volunteer for the NACDL Clemency Project. So the good karma of criminal defense lawyers and doing the right thing by each other came through to me that night loud and clear as I could socially distance in the most extraordinary way and celebrate with that clemency recipient in Mississippi. So in honor of my membership, going on my silver anniversary as a member, and in honor of Barry Boss and the mentors that I've had and friends that I've made over the years, I'm sorry that I'm late to the game, but I'm sponsoring 4. And I'm welcoming the class of 2020, who will clearly have it harder than I did, into the NACDL family. And I hope you'll join me.